What up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Burn Live Show. I'm your host, Capiche. It's going down, you know? Today is Monday, and we have the marijuana news and stories for you today. Appreciate you coming through. What I would like for you to do for me right now is hit that like button, subscribe, share out the content to your favorite. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the show. Please get your marijuana, your blunts, your joints, and all that good, beautiful things. Let's get it together and let's get into this show. You know? So, ladies and gentlemen, today is Marijuana Day. I'm gonna start off today with this Texas story. Texas has banned smokable THC, goes into effect this month. Let's see. Will I ever be visiting Texas? Texas, what are we gonna do about this marijuana issue? How do they feel about it? Without a further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the story.
The news at 9. I'm Jenna King. New THC regulations going into effect at the end of the month could mean that some of the most popular products will be taken off the shelves. Beginning March 31st, most smokable hemp products will become illegal, leaving many THC vendors unsure about their futures. Fox 7's Marco Bittnell joins us live from the Capitol with the latest. Marco.
Well, Jenna, these new regulations are bringing stricter and more expensive guidelines to THC vendors, and it's left some wondering if their businesses will be able to survive these changes.
We are always in fear that, we're going to lose more and more categories.
Fears rising for THC vendors across the state as new regulations are set to ban one of their most popular products.
The flower right here, those are natural THCA flower, and the change will be in how it's calculated. So this whole category will probably disappear.
Oz Millman is the owner of Green Herbal Care, which has multiple locations across Central Texas. Since 2018, they've been a supplier in the state's multi-billion-dollar hemp industry, with THCA flower being one of their best sellers. When heated, it turns into Delta-9 THC, giving users a high.
You can see sales are going up. People like the product. People use the product. Why go against the people?
But now THCA flower will essentially be illegal, as new regulations from the state say that THCA must be included in the total THC calculations, meaning that most smokable hemp products will no longer meet the legal limit to be sold in Texas. And at Green Herbal Care, flower sales make up about 50% of their revenue, something they'll have to replace with inferior product and something that they fear will have a bigger push to the black market.
They're going to go to places that they don't have lab reports. They have less knowledge of what they're buying. Instead of, this place, they have, everything is tested. They know exactly what they get.
THC vendors are also seeing a huge spike in licensing fees as well, as they're now required to pay $5,000 annually per location, a steep change from the $150 they were paying previously. It's a change Green Herbal Care will be able to survive, but others might not be able to.
Yet again, this extra tax trying to bring up revenue. Don't know where the money's technically going. Getting rid of THC studies in Texas is very weird. I'm not going to even stunt or play with anybody listening to this story. This story is very not reasonable to understand. Like, why is we not trying to better Texas for us, the THC world? But then it kind of explaining itself that, they really don't want people to smoke weed out there.
Got used to a lot of changes. So with the fees, we're going to be okay. We're going to survive it. I guess some of the competition will disappear. which is a shame. There is a room for all of us.
The new regulations come after a back and forth in 2025 when the Texas legislature passed a bill banning THC products outright. That was vetoed by Governor Abbott, who instead ordered DSHS to implement stricter THC regulations. But still, owners like Oz have begun to lose faith in lawmakers.
I chose Texas to be my home. I really love the values here. It's supposed to be the state of freedoms, and it doesn't seem like that anymore.
These new THC regulations come after THC vape pens were banned last September. But for now, edibles like gummies and drinks, as well as CBD, still remains legal. Reporting from the Capitol, Marco Bittnell, Fox 7 Austin News.
What if you're
Texas are really looking bad when it comes to this marijuana. I really don't think Texas and Florida are going to marijuana law anytime soon. It just always seemed like that. I can be very, very wrong. I know I'm very, very wrong, but it's just, hey. Let's hear this from a different news source at the same time and see how they took it.
The shelves as part of a statewide ban. One smoke shop owner tells me the repercussions could shut them down.
And it's going to drastically hurt us. I mean, it really is. We're going to lose a good 70% of our business because of a lot of people do smokables. They use smokables. Veterans use it.
Tom Munson and his wife are the owners of TNT Up and Smoke in Belton, which just opened its doors in January. Now he says they, like many other smoke shop owners, are worried about how long they will remain open.
When we first decided to open, we were looking at the laws. We saw the national law, the hemp regulation, but we had till November 2026 before we knew if it was going to change or if it wasn't going to change. This new law, it came out at the very beginning of March. It hit us like a brick wall.
The changes tightening rules on hemp products is a push to protect children, but Malcolm Felmley at Lightning Smoke Shop in Killeen tells me he's afraid it may lead neighbors to illegal means.
If this was about safety, we would have gotten rid of tobacco products a long time ago. We would be more stringent when it comes to alcohol. The fact of the matter is all those regulations can be applied to hemp and can be considered a safe industry. But for some reason, we keep spreading misinformation that is more dangerous than it actually is.
Felmley says he hopes a better solution can happen before the ban takes away products some neighbors find useful.
So many of our clients are elderly or veterans just trying to find some better.
Yet again, okay, so I'm with that part of spreading misinformation. We need better podcast people, people like me who's willing to come out here, talk about these news stories, spread this information and stuff like that. I think we are lacking spreading of the information. We are. That's why I continue to talk about marijuana news on Mondays, break it down, discuss it. So therefore we can spread, because there's a lot of people that got into marijuana once it got legalized in certain states, they stopped. And that's the thing. You're going to legalize it in your state and then you're going to stop. There's other regulations that need to occur. They need to happen.
A way to deal with PTSD, chronic pain, or anxiety altogether. So not only is removing this product cutting into our profits.
Also, what he said, if these products are really cutting down people for spending money with pills and doctors, doctors are not for stuff that's going to stop that.
But it's also making sure that our consumers, the community of Killeen, just won't have access to the things that they've been utilizing so far.
The Munsons say they are working to empty out their inventory before the March 31st deadline. They say it's at least $5,000 worth of product. In Bell County, I'm your neighborhood reporter, Mariah Williams.
I'm honestly thinking like, yeah. Y'all definitely need to get rid of somebody, whoever's blocking y'all for doing all this in Texas. Hopefully it's not y'all mayor. I think he's cool. But whoever's blocking y'all from this, from growing, from actually trying to learn, it's time to get rid of them. It is time to get rid of them. We also got THC gummies that actually make the supreme government, because this is going to get interesting right here, ladies and gentlemen. But understandable, gummies have been hitting middle schools and high schools a little bit lately. Been a lot more reports. Really kind of depends on how you weigh out this one right here. It's still important. Let's get into it.
This morning, new backlash to the spending bill that reopened the federal government. The bill is now set to shut down a key part of the booming hemp industry.
This is the problem with our government. I mean, this is ridiculous.
A last-minute provision to the bill closes a loophole that allowed manufacturers to convert hemp into high-potency THC products through chemical processing, sold with almost no federal oversight. The new provision will cap hemp products at just 0.4 milligrams of THC per serving, a fraction of what's nearly in all products on the market today. Senator Mitch McConnell has been leading the charge to close the loophole.
Products more potent than marijuana can be bought off the shelf of a glass.
Now, these are not products that are normally found in dispensaries. Okay? Let's put that out there. Let's keep it 100. Let's not fake around. These products right here are not the normal products that you find in a dispensary. These are street brand stuff that they're talking about. And now that they're putting it in Delta 8, which I ain't never had Delta 8. I know what Delta 8 is. But the effects of Delta 8 and what it does, I don't know. Can it affect the kid? I want to say no, but obviously it must be.
Of a gas station.
More than 8,400 children were treated in U.S. emergency rooms for cannabis poisonings between 2018 and 2023, but some lawmakers have joined those in the hemp industry pushing for regulation, not prohibition.
We've been fighting for actual regulation since day one at Delta.
Industry leaders say the economic impact could be massive.
There's $28 billion in money that flows through the industry, and over 300,000 people that are directly related to employment.
With younger customers drinking less alcohol, some breweries turn to THC beverages to keep their businesses afloat.
This, I don't know about y'all, but this was expected for me. I knew this was going to happen sometime soon. Was this a smart idea? I think so. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. Love to put my name on a THC can. Maybe not burn live. It would be more of the Capiche name. That would be a THC. More of a wine THC type of thing. So yeah, I did kind of expect this to happen and go down like this. Smart deal. You were kind of wary if Budweiser or Busch or the big brands start getting into it. Now, the little brands getting into it, 50-50. Big brands get into it, y'all know it's going to be a big worry. Y'all going to be panicking. Y'all going to wonder what's going on. And
it would be gutted. It would be devastating to just put a prohibition on it.
And one hemp farmer who called into C-SPAN says the change could shut down her business.
I make a jar of joint and muscle salve. It has 3,000 milligrams of CBD. That product doesn't get anybody high. It's a topical product. This was a false narrative.
A bipartisan push is underway in Congress to reverse the new limits on hemp products.
Co-producer.
See, people won't admit, you know what I'm saying, that kids in schools are getting a hold of this and making this look bad. They're not going to admit that. I have no problems admitting it or even saying it because, yet again, stuff like this. Yo, when we thought about these problems, we were thinking about adults only. We was not thinking about kids getting involved and messing around. But yet again, that's what we're having right now. We have kids involved and they're messing around. We gotta somehow regulate it. I know it is never gonna be regulated to the best of ability. Kids have been getting high and stuff like this in school since probably the 40s, 30s, whenever, you know what I'm saying? It's always been a bad kid sneaking weed, marijuana, joints of acid of such to school. So, by saying that, you really, it's like, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? But it just, I'm puzzled to think of what a true enough effect would be for them to change the effect of marijuana. But
a new effort tonight to further regulate medical marijuana in Oklahoma, and this time jobs are on the line.
But some are asking if a new proposal is even constitutional. News 4's Dylan Brown spoke to patients with medical cards who are not happy. Dylan's joining us now. Dylan.
No, not happy at all. In Oklahoma, if you work firefighter, law enforcement, or even child care, and you have a medical marijuana card, you're protected from being fired from, or you could be fired if you're drug tested and your boss finds out. But one lawmaker is trying to fix that, trying to regulate it where almost any employer for any job could get fired. Trying to do, is this the most they pushed against marijuana in Oklahoma, would you say?
Yeah, it seems like year by year they're chipping apart every way.
Over 315,000 Oklahomans are medical marijuana card holders. Most could lose their jobs soon if any hint of marijuana is in their system.
Oh, my assistant, I could fire her because she uses assuming she uses medical marijuana.
As you test positive, you're fired, then yes.
Representative Kevin West is leading the charge. Right now, there is the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana and Patient Protection Act. After medical marijuana was legalized, lawmakers made it so employers could fire employees depending on the job, labeling some of them as safety sensitive, like construction, childcare, even a firefighter. But if Representative West's efforts pass, the definition of safety sensitive opens up, meaning almost any employer can test and fire employees if marijuana is in their system.
You're going to have a clerical desk job labeled as a safety sensitive job, or even possibly a janitor.
Chance Tinker moderates Oklahoma MMA. It's a Facebook page central to medical marijuana information in Oklahoma. He says this could be more than just jobs lost.
Or workman's comp insurance won't cover an employee after a situation because they tested positive for marijuana.
I do not see allowing a business to implement a policy violating anybody's rights.
And the measure is expected soon for another vote on the House floor, and likely it could end up passing.
This keeps coming up there. This isn't the first push against medical marijuana at the Capitol, is it?
No, there's been a bunch. We know Governor Kevin Stitt has pushed lately for getting rid of medical marijuana, which the people voted on and approved not too long ago. But Senator Lonnie Paxton, he's the Senate leader, has kind of pushed against that. And there's a bunch of other pushes to kind of regulate it more and more. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Do you support Israel and the Jewish people now?
When it comes to marijuana versus federal versus state, that's where you're going to have your biggest problems. That's where you're going to have your biggest effects. That's where you're going to have your biggest bumping of head, because my argument to all of this would be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Simple fact that firefighters, daycare people, and what other one they say? All them people that they just named can go out here and get drunk and have a car accident and still have their jobs. You know, maybe get suspended. You know, there is some punishment, but yet again, if they even fire from this job, they can go to another job and they can find another job in the same field. But you're trying to tell me in this marijuana part of the industry, you know, I can't do that. You know, that's against what's going on. I have a problem. You get fired. It's gonna be hard for you to find a job in the same field. This is what you're trying to do to these people. Like, why? Like, what would be the whole concept of trying to destroy people who's making a living just because you failed a drug test? They failed the alcohol test, would they get fired? Would they get discriminated like this? Yes, you would get fired. Will you get discriminated with? Will it be seen like the end of the road? No, you get drunk, you get fired, you go find another job. But they're making it to like this, how they're doing it with this THC and federally banning it before you get a medical card. Is like, yo, you're not gonna get hired anyway if you have America. What is the purpose of getting an American marijuana card and getting a job? Because once they see that, then they can like, oh, okay, I can hire you. My job is slow at the moment. I gotta, you know, get these monies right. The money get right. You're gonna be one of the first people that let go. Oh, why I'll let you go? Because you had a marijuana card. You know, easy. Out here in Vegas, that'll be easy to let go because we don't need no reasons to hire you, or we don't need no reasons to fire you. But if there's gonna build a pattern, which I don't know, I'm just talking. If they're gonna build a pattern that says, hey, yo, we're not gonna allow this to happen, this is not gonna rock with marijuana people, just because of your card, just because I felt like it, sounds like an issue. Sounds like a lot of people are not gonna be sounds like a big ass lawsuit too. Because people are gonna be like, that's discrimination. Now, I think that's a good fight right there. I think that's something that needs to be fight back. Y'all are discriminating against the people, but yet again, you letting alcohol, you letting people that pop pills do this other stuff, still allowed to have the jobs go on by and not even get touched. They're not even being bothered. They're not even being bothered until they break the law. Y'all trying to get at these people for laws breaking. What was that movie, Minority Report? I'm starting to see a lot of people have this mindset of, you know, we got to stop the crime before the crime happens. And I'm not against that. If we're going to stop the crime before the crime happens, cool. But make sure it's the criminal. We're not going to stop everybody. Like, dang, I go to work, I chill, I do a good job. You're trying to tell me my job, no, I got a marijuana card and they feel like firing some people. Hey, capiche? You're gone. That is just too, I don't know, that's just too easy, too simple to point a finger at somebody. Like, come on with it, bros. We got to do better. We got to do better. We got to be able to come out here and vote, y'all. We got to be able to vote. Scientists says it doesn't ease it. Scientists says marijuana doesn't eases anxieties and other medical health conditions. Definitely got to get into this report. Stop playing. This is where people like propaganda Why did you tell us this in the first place? Who came up with these ideas like marijuana does this and that's this? When we're out here researching this stuff, why does it says this and this and that and this?
New in Health Check this morning, a research team in Australia is questioning a common held belief that marijuana can ease symptoms of mental health conditions. Now, the scientists analyzed results from 54 randomized controlled trials published between 1980 and 2025. They reportedly showed no evidence that any form of cannabis is effective in treating anxiety, depression, or PTSD. The findings were published yesterday in the journal Lancet Psychiatry.
I can help anyone, no matter their experience level.
It's like you want to kind of figure out like what equipment do they have out there in Australia? What research teams did they break down out there in Australia? Don't it? If you're not, then I don't know. It really makes you think up here, like, yeah, like, okay. Y'all in another, and that putting our report. Why is we picking up the report over here? Do we even trust Australia people? Do you even like them? We trust them. But yet again, people that want to ban marijuana is going to use any source of information, call it valid. They're like people that want marijuana. We use any resources that we think that we're gonna call as valid. I get it. I hate this stuck in the middle thing. For real.
Started. The governor of Virginia and the legislature are finalizing details of exactly when it will become legal. But for more context, we want to know why now and what to expect. How quickly do you expect Virginia consumers to catch on?
The next day.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what history shows.
That's what history shows. So
There's pent-up demand.
100% there's pent-up demand.
How many plants do you grow in any given time?
Somewhere between 15 to 20,000.
Wow.
Right now we believe that there's $1.5 billion illicit market.
But Caroline, let's be honest. Even for folks in Virginia, Northern Virginia, marijuana is not exactly hard to get. In very broad strokes, what does this do for adults in Virginia?
This would open up a legal recreational marketplace for adults in the Commonwealth to go into a corner store that's been licensed, and they'll be able to purchase marijuana, buy the flower, buy the edible, or different types of product.
In the same breath that he said this is a $1.5 billion industry, which is very good numbers for anybody to get in. It's like you can do anything you want to do in the marijuana industry. You should be able to boom and be successful in it. I've seen different ideas pop up and people just run with it. It's okay. So when you see these shows like this, you just want to be able to like, okay, cool. We're doing this. We're legalizing marijuana. We're making money. We're building up the communities. Taxpayers' money for marijuana is going to something positive. These are things that we're looking for. These are the positive notes. Do understand that there are backlashes where illegal movement, underage kids getting a hold of it. That is the up and down fight with this marijuana. You think this guy that's opened up this dispensary is thinking about that? Not at all. But then you can't say he's not thinking about it. He's thinking about it, but he understands that there's nothing that he really can do about it to even change the outcome. That is a statewide thing to vote on if you want to change stuff like that.
that has been approved by the state, and you'll be able to use it recreationally in your home.
Do you think there's still a stigma?
Absolutely, there's still a stigma. We're still living at a time in the United States and even in our little tri-state region where people are getting locked up for a plant that other folks are making millions of dollars on. I think what folks don't realize is these dispensaries aren't in dark corners. They're right there on your main streets.
But yet again, the thing is, and what she said, and I have to unfortunately reject, is the fact people that are making $1 million are doing it the right way. The ones that are doing it illegal way, those are the people that we are trying to stop. Those are the people that you want off the street. Those are the people that make it hard for marijuana to get regulated in your state. It makes it hard to get regulated in your county. It makes it hard for people that want it federally to get it federally done. And this is why, one, I am highly against it being federally regulated. Because once it's federally regulated, they're all in your business. And I guarantee out of the few people that are watching right now, if I name one person, I guarantee you don't want him in your business at all. You don't even want to think about just one person in your business that runs the government. You don't. You do not.
Too Trump.
So people keep asking us, where do you film your podcast? We shoot everything inside Riverside. I record our show in 4K.
Today, a group Virginia has been working to establish for years. Previous plans have been struck down by the Republican governor.
Now, with a Democrat on her way into the governor's mansion, the green business is getting a green light.
Later this year or early next, Virginia will become the 25th state in this nation to legalize cannabis for recreational use. The federal government says in 2024, 61.5 million people used marijuana in this country. This is no longer the stuff of deals on the corner or, hey, I know a guy. It's a huge business. And for more context, we wanted to take a look inside. This is For More Context, your seat in the News 4 newsroom for a conversation about how we check facts, fight for answers, break stories.
This is the breakdown of how it went through, how it got down. These are actually stuff that needs to happen, should happen. These are things that, some things that are I'm against of why certain states shouldn't be legalized. And the fact that these are some of the struggles of why you go through these struggles.
We had a stupid ass government. That's why. Now we got a good government. And we about to start these talking.
In the marijuana part, cool. Other than that, y'all still got an idiot as a governor.
She can be an idiot.
Hold each other accountable. When it comes to legalizing adult use of marijuana in Virginia, how long have they been trying to make this happen?
This has been going on for several years. I mean, Virginia has done this with a lot of different things. I don't know the best way to say that. Virginia has done this a lot. They kind of watch and see what happens in other states, who's doing well, who's not doing well. It's a cautious approach. It's worked sometimes, it hasn't worked others.
So what do you think it is, just the difference between what we experience in Northern Virginia and the rest of the Commonwealth?
I think maybe. I mean, look, politically, there were a couple of hang-ups. You had a Republican governor in there for 4 years who had absolutely no interest in
New Mexico is considered what?
New Mexico is not considered part of the South, sir.
That ain't what you just said.
I said South.
Okay.
That's the same thing I just said. New Mexico is not considered.
So what is it considered?
It ain't the South.
So where are they?
Texas ain't the South.
Why?
Arizona ain't the South.
Why Texas not the South?
Because it's not.
Ain't they? Okay. No, I ain't smart, but I could have sworn Texas is in the South. Right?
It's at the bottom part of the United States, but it's not considered one of the southern states that I'm talking about.
Why is not considered a southern? Is it literally considered a southern state, or is not considered a southern state, period? Or just because you wanna?
You ask somebody from Texas, Anybody from Texas say, y'all consider yourself from the South? They're gonna say no. They're gonna say no. We are considered Midwest. That's what they're gonna say. You ask somebody from Arizona, hey, you from the South? No, I'm from Arizona. You ask somebody from New Mexico, hey, Mr. New Mexico, you from the South? No, I'm from New Mexico. I ain't from the South. I ain't from Georgia. I ain't from Alabama. I ain't from Florida. I ain't from North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia.
That's all the East Coast.
Oh, South.
East Coast.
South.
East Coast.
South.
Not South.
South.
Y'all on the coast.
South.
Coast.
South.
Coast. Coast.
South.
Y'all sound like a bunch of idiots.
South.
Never.
Ask anybody from the States and ask them, is they from the South?
I would tell them y'all some dumb idiots.
They're gonna tell you the same thing.
Do y'all have water touching y'all state? Except for Georgia. But most of those states you named got water touching it, right?
Water touches Georgia too, bro. But that's the
what ocean touch
Georgia? The Gulf of Mexico. That's irrelevant, bro.
Gulf of what?
All that is South. All that is considered South.
There's no such thing as Gulf of Mexico.
It's not. Okay, well, I'm gonna need you to go back to school, sir.
Ask Google right now. I bet
you ask Google where the Gulf of Mexico is.
There is no such thing as Gulf of Mexico.
Ask Google is there such thing as Gulf of Mexico.
I can't wait to prove he wrong on this one.
Google, is there such thing as the Gulf of Mexico?
Nope.
Ask him.
It's called Gulf of United States of America.
No, it's not. Ask him.
Is there such water as Gulf of Mexico?
Yes, there definitely is. The Gulf of Mexico is a big water bordered by the United States, Mexico.
I try not to spit.
What is it called?
I spit what I know.
It's called the Gulf of Mexico.
Thank you.
Is it called Gulf of Mexico right now? Or is it called Gulf of America?
That's an interesting question. While the United States government has recently started calling it the Gulf of America officially, many people still know it by its traditional name, the Gulf of Mexico.
Thank you.
True indeed. It's traditional that it used to be that, but it's not called right that on any map.
So if it's called traditional, that means everybody's still calling it that. The Gulf of America is new. That ain't caught on yet. Don't nobody know that shit. That's why.
Oh, they know it.
That's why.
Oh, you know it.
So I'm right.
You're
It is
wrong.
originally called the Gulf of Mexico. That's
But
what
it's
they
not
call it
called the
for
Gulf
school.
of Mexico right now.
She just
as
said
we
it.
speak.
She just said it's called the Gulf of Mexico, bro. I just, you know what I'm saying. You could change the narrative. How you
I'm
want
not
to.
changing the
She just
narrative.
said right
She
there,
just told you factually in
called
United
the
States
Gulf.
of America,
It is called
they are
the
calling
Gulf
it
of
the
Mexico.
what?
She just told
Gulf
you. You can change the
of
narrative all you want.
America.
She just told you. You asked her about the Gulf.
And
of
it
You
says
asked her
in
the
United
original
States of
question was,
America.
hey, is there such
you
thing
know
as
what?
the Gulf
An
of
idiot
Mexico?
isn't
What did
gonna
she
be an
say?
idiot.
Yes, there is. What is it called? It's called the Gulf of Mexico. Then you
And
came
what-
back and said, well, what is it called?
What is it called today?
What is it called today?
In United States of America, they call it
She said
Gulf of
traditionally,
Uni-
it's still called the Gulf of Mexico, which means
That means
if
idiots.
you know what the fuck traditionally means,
That means
that's
idiots
what it was
don't
originally
wanna-
called, and that's what everybody's going to call it until this bullshit ass statement that you just said catch on. Ain't nobody caught on to that Gulf of America shit. As a matter of fact, you go to a map right now, it's not going to say Gulf of America, it's going to say Gulf of Mexico.
Show me a map of United States of America. What that say?
That's a new map. They just changed the name. So it's still called the Gulf of Mexico. As far as I'm concerned, the motherfucker still called the Gulf of
He
Mexico.
looked at it and it says
And she told you it's the Gulf
Gulf
of Mexico.
of America.
And she Google told
It's
you.
not
And
Gulf
she told you.
of
That's just one map, and that map is new.
Bam.
Go back to the map when we was in school, nigga. What does that say? What does that say? Ooh, I rest
Okay.
my case.
Boom.
What does that say? Ooh.
Let's go to a real one.
Oh no, that was the real one. Hold on,
That was
that was
real?
the real one.
That
You
was
saw what it said. Just because it said the Gulf of Mexico don't make it ain't real. That's still Florida. That's still Texas. They go Louisiana. They go Georgia. Actually, Georgia borders the Atlantic Ocean. See, it does touch water. And Alabama, all that's still the same, bro. How is that not real? That's the United States to me.
That's the United States of you. But
Yeah.
yet again, you know, that's incorrect because we went to the first one and it says Gulf of America from Google.
And that map came from Google that I just saw.
That map did not come from Google.
It's on Google. It's on.
What did that say? Amazon.
Amazon. It's up here.
That's
it's on
not
the internet.
Google.
It's on the internet. Don't matter.
It does matter.
No, it don't.
You just said it came from Google. It came from.
It don't matter.
Amazon. Well, that's.
They taught us in school that it was the Gulf of fucking Mexico. If you want to change the name later, go right ahead. But guess what? I was taught that the name was the Gulf of Mexico. So guess what? It's gonna always be the Gulf of Mexico because I wasn't taught of the Gulf of America.
So
we
you
were
have to be
taught the
taught
Gulf of
something,
We
even
were
though
taught the Gulf of Mexico. So guess what? It's the Gulf of Mexico.
So when things change, you don't change. You just keep it the same.
Nope. We keep it the same. That's right.
So if we still allowed, they was allowed to hang niggas back in the day. We still allowed to hang niggas today?
That's some way
That
different.
ain't
That's
way
against
different.
the law, nigga. Stay on subject. That's against the law. We're not talking about nothing against the law. We're talking about having two maps that say Gulf of America, and Gulf of Mexico. Stay
I
on
just
subject.
add you.
That
a
ain't got
simple
nothing.
question.
Hanging niggas, that ain't got shit to do with. That's against the law. That's a whole nother goddamn talk show. This is not breaking the law. This is a miscommunication, misinformation from the internet.
That's it. Which one is misinformation?
This, because I know
Which
it
one?
as the Gulf of Mexico.
But your president told us that it's called the Gulf of
He ain't
America.
told me shit. My teachers told me the Gulf of Mexico. Trump was never my teacher. I don't know who. Trump was my president. He ain't never told me shit about no Gulf of America.
He did. Man,
My
hold on.
teachers told me.
So
Gulf
who's
of
more
Mexico.
important, your teachers or your
The
president?
fucking teacher. The teachers are way more important because without them, we wouldn't have a motherfucker like Trump in the goddamn office.
So without teachers, we would have
We
presidents.
wouldn't, without teachers, we would have shit. We'd be dumb as fuck out here, running the country, dumb as hell.
So you think we had teachers before we had founding leaders?
Where do you think founding leaders came from? They were taught, right? They didn't wake up coming out the womb, out the pussy. Oh, I'm gonna lead. I know how to lead. No, they were taught. They were shown. They were influenced by a teacher or a mentor.
I wish Kick-Ass Nick was here because he brought up a narrative, just a narrative, that we was already intelligent. We already do. And I'm going back to the simple basics of survival, putting things together, building, conquering, moving, and stuff like that. We was already knowledgeable. This stuff was already knowledgeable. We was already here because who are the smartest species on the planet? Humans. My bad. Humans. So when you say that we were taught, we had to be taught. Okay. Not saying that we ain't. We haven't been taught anything. But yet again, if time changes, because a lot of things have changed, just like marijuana used to be illegal. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee everybody that fought for that don't want to go back to that, even though there are still cases out there where people are getting locked up, like the lady said, for petty crime. But yet again, we want to get it regulated. But you're not going to go back and say, you know what, since I was taught that marijuana was illegal, I'm still going to think like that. You're going to think how it is now that marijuana is legal.
It's not the same, sir. It's not the same. We're talking
Okay.
about a changing a body of water name, not a
You're
law.
talking about
not
everything.
laws,
I'm
not
talking about
laws,
everything.
not individual laws, not marijuana laws.
I'm talking about
not Indian niggas
everything.
laws. We're talking about
Everything,
the
Captain.
name of a body of water changing.
Jay,
so if you're going to use
Jay,
the metaphor,
Jay,
stick to that.
Jay,
Because
I'm talking about everything.
We're not talking about everything.
I
We're talking about.
am.
Okay,
I
go
just
ahead.
brought it out.
Go
If you
ahead.
can't,
Well, I can't answer that because you're talking about everything.
well,
I'm
if your
talking about
brain
body of
can't
water.
compute, then your brain can't
There
compute.
you go. It ain't gonna compute because I'm stuck on the body of water part.
And I went past that.
Oh, okay then.
And then you just heard me go past that. Like, why can't your brain? How slow are you?
Why I gotta be slow? Why we gotta
Because I'm letting
why
you know.
Why you gotta use derogatory words to your co-host?
Because
like that,
yet
bro?
again, I
Is that what we doing?
specifically,
Is that what we
slowly
doing?
went into a bigger,
That what we doing?
broader,
Is that what we
into.
doing, y'all? That what we doing? I'm gonna let them continue the show.
yet again, I went into a bigger, broader information, and you computed on one thing. Like, you can't outthink. Like, and then you can't stand up here and stand on your business. That's crazy.
No, what's crazy is you got to use derogatory words to your co-host. We supposed to be bigger than that. We can agree.
You could just argue back. You can argue back. That's all you can do.
We can agree to disagree, but I
You can argue back.
I did not call you slow. I did not call you no kind of derogatory words, bro. This show not respect me like that.
It's just a debate of a simple, and I'm not even debating. I'm just really trying to.
Debate. When a nigga got to start using derogatory words, you already won.
I've already won. No,
you got to use derogatory words to get to me.
I ain't trying to get to you. I'm just trying to make a conversation.
Calling me slow?
Did you understand the conversation?
Calling me slow.
Did you understand the conversation?
You calling me slow.
Yet again.
That's derogatory, sir.
Y'all again. Y'all see how his brain works?
No,
like it can't get past one thing.
You don't put down your co-host, bro, just because y'all having a disagreement.
Sir.
So you got to win, so you got to call him
I don't
slow?
have to win. It's not about a win. It's not about a win. It's just you can't compute. Your brain can't compute if you can't compute. That's not my fault.
You're right. You're right.
And yet again, you're gonna yell from back room instead of being here on the live, standing on whatever you been. And if that's what you want to stick with, then my audience see that. My audience see how non-verbal, back and forth you can be, like a child. It's amazing that I get so many people on this show, have a conversation, Gulf of Mexico, change it to America. Boom, I say, okay, I'll spread it to bigger things. Y'all heard me break it down. I don't only want to think though, like, come on, bro. It's a conversation of a conversation. Yes, I'm gonna call it slow because yet again, I'm talking about something bigger. Did we not hear the conversation? But yet again, we know we're gonna go run over there to those other platforms and run to my great. Ladies and gentlemen, it's amazing. We need tougher skin, people that understand a conversation, how a conversation goes back and forth. But yet again, he's seen it. It's called Gulf of America. People know it as Gulf America. If you want to acknowledge it, Gulf America, that's on you. I even broke down the teachers and Nick. So yet again, I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go into this subject. I'm going to this topic. You can't keep up. That's not my fault. That is really, really not my fault. I'm not finna keep babysitting people on their ideologies and their thoughts just because they can't keep up with a conversation. I'm just not. I think that was a simple conversation. I think it wasn't that harsh. I think it was straightforward. It wasn't like I was trying to get you a gotcha moment. I wasn't trying to provoke or push, just having a conversation. Some people would say, oh, you're moving the goalpost. Okay, you could have ran with that one. That would have been understandable. You calling me slow, man. People are going to call you everything, and it's the internet. Co-host, host. There's going to be discussions where people just have a disagreement. That's what we're going to call. But yet again, you're going to have conversations with people where they don't want to comprehend, and they're going to play retarded. And that's where I have a problem, is when you act and play on people's intelligence. That's one thing I won't do. Ain't that right? See? Even the dog being like, yeah, I wouldn't play on nobody's intelligence. I don't play on people's intelligence. I don't play like people are slow. Who you are. The whole world can see who you are. If you're on the internet. I'm on the internet almost every day. Go with the conversation. Feel with the conversation. Just a conversation. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Burn Live Show. This was started off as a marijuana talk about the different structures and things, the different changes. Matter of fact, I even went into the marijuana changes because I brought it back. I was trying to bring it back into the marijuana talk. That's where, yeah, I had to say slow because yet again, so marijuana used to be illegal. Yet again, we're talking about this marijuana. You see the green everywhere. Make it make sense. You really got to think about that. But yet again, you don't want to think about that. That's crazy. Well, it's another good show, y'all. Till next time, your host, Capiche. Burn Live Mondays. Talk about all things marijuana, break down news and stories, stuff like that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Until the next time that you are watching, have a good day. Bye-bye.